AVC and everybody out there in YouTube. Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem. It's Kendall, and I'm back from vacation. That's right. For the last week, I have been up in Connecticut. Family and I drove all the way up, spent time with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, her family. Mother-in-law flew out there. My other brother and sister-in-law flew out from Vegas. Had a nice get-together. Saw a little bit of snow. Saw the Pez Museum. Some other stuff. And of course, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do a little bit of record digging. And that's what happened. Got back into town yesterday. And figured I would do a video showing you a nice stack of records that I picked up while I was up there. So let's get into it. While I was there, I went to a couple shops, but I'm going to talk about one because honestly, all my records came from one. And it was a record store that I visited in Brookfield, Connecticut. The record store was called, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right, Gerosa Records. They've been in business since 1986, been at that location since 1986, so 38 years they've been around. And as soon as I walked into that place, I just was dumbfounded at how nice of a store, how well curated and upkept it was, just the way that they had everything organized. You walk in and it was like, just, you know, over to the right was their audiophile section. They had a wall of audiophile records, bins, you know, were labeled. They had Mobile Fidelity, they had Analog Productions, they had just everything was put in, you know, just this order. I saw Mobile Fidelity records that I'd never seen before. Stuff from the 80s, which is really, really cool. I mean, some high quality stuff. They had nice equipment. And then to the back of the store, they had their wall. They had everything just lined up well. They had their 7-inch singles. They had that divided up. They had their jazz wall. They had the jazz section divided. I mean, it was just so nice the way they had it. Very easy to go through and find everything. And then, of course, if you didn't know anything was, you asked. They were very polite, just very well done. And, you know, it's things like that that keep you in business for almost 40 years. Met the owner. His name's Brian. Nice guy. He helped me out. And believe it or not, I went there 3 separate days, and I'll get into that because the first day I had somebody give me a ride. My brother-in-law took me out. We went to a few of the record stores, and this was one of the stores we hit. My brother-in-law is not really big into records, so I didn't want to spend a lot of time at each store. And so this was, I think, the second or third store we had gone to that day. And so I looked around and I told him when I was there, I was like, I could spend so much time here. And so the first day I bought a record there. And, well, first off, the wall. The wall was so impressive, just the stuff they had, from, you know, sealed OG records from the 90s to tip-top shape records from the 60s to jazz records, first pressings, Blue Note, to sealed records from the 70s and 60s. You know, just everything was in top quality too. And I thought the pricing was really good. And that wasn't just stuff on the wall, it was just stuff in the crates too, in the bins. I was just very, very surprised, very happy, which is why I went back multiple times to get records, which again, I'll get into shortly. And real quick, I'll even just kind of show you what the wall looked like. Okay, here is the wall of records. Most of this stuff is really high-end first pressings, some 90s stuff. We got an Alice in Chains, Tripod Sealed. Let's see, got Guns N' Roses, Cure, Van Halen, not Van Halen, Pearl Jam, some Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, In Utero, first pressing, Foo Fighters, first pressing, Iggy and the Stooges, Nirvana, first pressing, Soundgarden, first pressing, Big Star, first pressing, Sealed, Versus Sealed. I mean, this was some pretty high-end stuff. Nevermind Sealed, not Sealed, but it was a first pressing, I'm sorry. Some stuff I hadn't seen before, but really high-end good stuff. Grateful Dead, first pressing, Nine Inch Nails. So yeah, some really good stuff here. Jethro Tull, I think that came out in 94, if I remember correctly. It was a first pressing. Sealed, Nirvana, again, Bleach, that was not a first press. RL, that was really nice. Soft Machine, some David Bowie here, some good stuff. I was very impressed with their wall, a wide variety of stuff, and just the quality was really, really good as well. So definitely great stuff at this location. Also, they had, just a separate section for their jazz. Again, a lot of the stuff was first pressings, and just in, again, superb condition. So as you can see, there was plenty of good stuff on that wall. But anyway, so that first day with my brother-in-law, like I said, I didn't want to spend a lot of time, but I did find one record real fast, and this is one that I had been looking for a long time, and I was super happy to find this, because this has been on my want list for a while. Not like a super expensive or maybe even difficult record to find. It's just one that has been eluding me for so long, but I found it, and it was this one here. This is Lyle Lovett, Pontiac. This is his second album. This is my favorite Lyle Lovett album, actually. So I was very excited to finally find this, and to be able to actually, not have to buy it online or whatever, but to, go to a store and just go through the bins. Oh, look, there it is. Boom. So very nice. And this is a really, really great copy. I actually just listened to this today, finally. So clean, so nice. The record itself, even the sleeve is in great condition. So very happy to pick this up. I love this album, with songs like If I Had a Boat, She's Not a Lady, That's My Wife. I love that song. She's Hot to Go. Love that one. Pontiac's a good one. Yeah, this is just a great album. So very happy that I picked this one up. Like I said, I didn't want to spend a lot of time there the first day. So I told my brother-in-law, and then I also told my wife, I said, look, I'm going to go back to the store. And so I went back the very next day. I had noticed stuff on the wall that might intrigue some people. So texted and called some people, said, hey, just so you know, there's some things here that you guys might be interested in. So long story short of it, I did make some deals happen for some friends of mine in the vinyl community, and mailed some records off today that I picked up out there for them. Hopefully they will find them well. I'm not going to go into detail about that, because that's not my business to tell. That's theirs. But some cool stuff happened, and that's how I really got to know the owner, and talked to the owner, because they were able to call the store, and they made the purchases over the phone, and I took possession and brought the records home. So a lot of fun stuff. There was so much stuff that like I said, I got a huge stack here. And so that second day, I did some more shopping, and this is some of the stuff I picked up. As I always do, I always go through the Eric Clapton section, because you never know what you might find. And I found something I'd never seen before. And this is the soundtrack to Homeboy with Mickey Rourke and Christopher Walken. This movie came out, I believe, in 1990. and Eric Clapton does the music for it, kind of like he did for the movie Rush. So this is a very bluesy sounding album. Um, it's got him, Michael Caven on keyboards, Steve Ferrone on drums, and Nathan East on bass. And then also, there's some old jazz songs actually on this as well, which is kind of cool. Not just him playing some instrumental stuff that he had written. Also, this was a promotional copy as well. But this is a very cheap record. It wasn't very much, but again, it was one that I had never seen before. I've never even seen this movie, so I did some research on the movie. Not gonna lie, kind of want to see the movie now. But yeah, I'm just a huge Eric Clapton fan, so anytime I see something new by Clapton that I haven't seen before, odds are I'm gonna pick it up, especially for the price that I paid for this. So very happy that I added this. So being up in Brookfield, Connecticut, turns out Brookfield's not that far away from New Haven, which is where this guy is from, and that is Mr. Michael Bolton. This is Michael Bolton's self-titled album. It's his debut album after he was in the band Blackjack, which I'll get into in a minute. But this is his debut album after the fact, not before the fact, because he did release 2 albums under his actual name, Michael Bolton, before he was in Blackjack. But this is his album after the fact. And I believe, if I remember correctly, let me just double check. I believe his band member from, his band member from Blackjack plays on this, and that would be Mr. Bruce Kulick, and also Bruce's brother Bob is on this as well. All the songs are written by those two, and actually I take that back. Bruce does play. Okay, yeah, Bruce plays lead guitar as well as Michael Bolton, and Bob plays, I believe, rhythm guitar on this as well. This is also a promo copy. Go figure on that. Nice little promo stamp there. But yeah, this is his second album. All songs were written by those two, Bruce and Michael. I'm not really familiar with this album. I haven't listened to it yet, but Michael Bolton's one of those guys that I would say is one of my what's the word? The guilty pleasures. I've always enjoyed him. So picked this up. It was cheap as well. But what I thought was really cool to see was this album, because this is one that you definitely do not see, especially on vinyl, and that is Time, Love, and Tenderness. This came out in 1991, of course, towards the end of vinyl, and so to see this, I was very, very stoked to see this. They actually had 2 copies of this, I believe, even. This was the nicer one. And this is in fantastic shape. I mean, you could almost say near mint all the way around. The sleeve, the record, everything. And it was not really that expensive either. Again, just, you know, to be able to actually find this. I've never seen it out in the wild, especially. I've seen it online. I know Chance, Concert Buddy, has a copy. He's the only one that I've ever seen show it in the VC. I'm not saying that others don't have copies, but like I said, it's just not one that you see very often. Obviously, the big hits on this were Time, Love, and Tenderness, and of course his Percy Sledge cover of When a Man Loves a Woman. Fantastic record. Very big selling record for him, of course. So very stoked to find this. I was very surprised to see how big of a Michael Bolton selection they had, but I think that may just be because, again, Michael Bolton is from and still lives up in Connecticut. As a matter of fact, when I went up to the register to buy those records, the owner told me that his brother used to come into the shop all the time. He said his brother looks a lot like him, actually. So, also that day, I found this and was pretty excited to find this because I have two of their records and I've never seen this one, but this is Talus Live Speed on Ice, or Live High Speed on Ice, I guess. This is a live album by the band Talus, and Talus is not really the most well-known band in the world, but what they are well known for having is Billy Sheehan of course, Mr. Big fame, and of course, David Lee Roth band fame. I have their first album, and I have their last album that came out just a couple years ago when they reunited. I have those two albums, and so to find this, I was very excited. Now, Talus was a northeastern band. They were from like Buffalo area. So to find this up in that area, it wasn't I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised, but I was very excited to find this because anytime I can find more stuff from Billy Sheehan, especially, I'm always excited. I think this came out like '81, but Talus, they kind of fit into that, not hair metal. I don't want to say it's hair metal, but it's kind of like that style almost. Just hard rock into heavy-ish metal. Very, very cool. Fast guitars. Very, very cool. Billy Sheehan's a beast on bass, and you hear that in this album especially. Very, very cool. On this Combat label, this green label. Very, very cool to find that. Again, wasn't too expensive. They did have another copy there that was really cool. I didn't want to buy it. It was like $20 more, but it was signed by the entire band. The reason I didn't want that is, I didn't get it signed by the entire band, so it really wouldn't have meant as much to me. And then the last one I bought that day, and I know what you're thinking, man, you bought quite a bit that day, was this. And very excited to see this because I didn't know it had come out on vinyl, because I've listened to it. But this is Chicago Presents the Innovative Guitar of Terry Kath. Doug Osbury, this is for you, my friend. This was a Rocktober release, I guess back in 2019. And I've listened to this in streaming. It's a 2 LP set. Like I said, this was a Rhino Rocktober release. And it's really cool because basically what it is that it's the best of Terry Kath. So like you've got Once or Twice, I'm a Man Dialogue Part 1 and 2, Ain't It Blue, 25 or 64 live in Japan, Mississippi Delta City Blues live in Japan, Listen, Southern California Purples, Darling Dear, An Hour in the Shower, A Hard Rising Morning Without Breakfast, Off to Work, Falling Out, Dreaming Home, Morning Blues. Again, that's all one track. In the Country, I Don't Want Your Money, Scrapbook, and Freeform Guitar, which Freeform Guitar is really, really cool. But yeah, so like I've streamed this before. This is some phenomenal sounding guitar stuff on this. So to be able to pick this up, and it was still on the shrink. I'm not even sure it had ever been played. And this was priced super, super well. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised what he had it priced at. He had it very low compared to what I saw on Discogs for it and everything. So got really lucky on that one. But very excited to add this. If you're a Chicago fan, this is something you guys need to look for. If you're a Terry Kath guitar fan, definitely need to find this, stream it. Anyway, so I picked that up and I thought, okay, good, I'm done. I've done enough shopping. And so the weekend goes by and I was talking with one of the people I bought, that had bought one of those records. And I told him about some of the stuff that I had found and some of the higher end stuff and everything too. And that he was like, I was telling him like, man, I kind of want to go back for some of that stuff. And he was like, well, you know, some of it's worth having, you know, if you really want it. Because, I mean, some of this is higher end and some of it's not. And some of it's just fun stuff to have. Because it's stuff that I don't always see. And so he said, you know, I mean, they're worth having. Like, they're fun. Like, they're not, you know, epic, but they're fun and they're fun to have. So I went back, and plus I had to make sure that I got the sticker too. You know, you gotta have a sticker to come back with. So I went back on Tuesday, I think it was. No, Monday. I went back on Monday because they were closed Tuesday because it was New Year's. Or Wednesday. No, maybe it was. Anyway, so I went back because they're normally closed Monday and Tuesday. But their hours were different because of the new year. So anyway, I went back and I ended up getting this, and I bought this because I had this on cassette. It was a single I had when the movie came out. But this is theme for Mission Impossible with Adam Clayton and Larry Mullen. Now this is a UK pressing. This came out in like '95. I had the cassette single of this, and if you've ever heard this or seen the movie at least, you'll know that the theme for this was redone and more techno dance mixy, I guess you would say. Very electronic. It sounded really cool. And Mission Impossible theme has always been one of my favorite themes from television / movie. And I just remember having this cassette and listening to it so much. There was 3 songs on the cassette. However, there's 6 on this. And it sounds really, really cool. So I was very happy to pick this up. Just because of memories again. So a lot of fun. This is just one of those fun ones. And now back to Michael Bolton. So they had this, and I just had to go back and buy it because this is another one you just don't see very often. But this is Blackjack's first album. And of course, you know, Michael Bolton was in Blackjack, a hard rock band, before he went solo the second time, because he was Michael Bolton solo, had 2 solo albums. Then he was Michael Bolton in Blackjack, and then he came back and he was Michael Bolton. Now, I like this cover. I think it's very cool, the way it looks. It opens on the side here. Where's it at? Like this. And then on the top as well. I think that's kind of neat. And then the back, if you look at it, the cards are the players. And right here is Mr. Bruce Kulick from Kiss. He was the guitar player. So, very cool to pick this up. This came out in 1979. And so, we're very happy to pick that up. Not a very expensive record, but just not one you see very often. It's on the Polydor label here. Again, this is just one of those things, you know, I think if you want to find a lot of Michael Bolton records, go up to Connecticut. That's probably where they all are, because that's where he's from and still lives. So very cool to add that to the collection. And then I also found this, which I've never seen in the wild before, and I thought it was very cool. And this is the Hassles. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Hassles, let me tell you. First off, it's on this United Artists label from 1968. And the Hassles were kind of a acid rock, psychedelic, blue-eyed soul band that were from upstate New York area. That's what they look like right here, and you might recognize one of those guys. And if you already know, well, good for you. A young guy by the name of William Joel, or Billy Joe, as he was known as, right there. Yeah, that's right, Billy Joe. This was the first album Billy Joel played on. He was the keyboardist and one of the vocalists. He he was not the only vocalist, but he became the only vocalist when one of the guys left. They recorded 2 albums. This one was more popular. Most of the songs are songs that they did write. There are a few covers on here. There's a cover of Fever. You Got Me Humming. Giving Up. I Hear Voices. Just Holding On, I believe. A couple songs on here were written by Billy Joel as well, though. Their second album, which is a lot harder to find, I think, was all written by the band, mainly Billy Joel. The band, some of the band members left. The remaining band members formed another band called Attila. I'm sure some of you guys have seen that as well. They didn't have that one, or else I'd have bought that one too, probably. But I was very happy to pick this up. And then, of course, after Attila, Billy went solo and is now what we know him as. But this is a really cool, fun record. Very happy to have found this. Again, this is the first pressing on that United Artists label. So very, very neat. It's in really good condition too. And then the last thing I picked up, this was the most expensive one I picked up. And again, it's one that I don't ever see, at least not this version of it. But this is a first pressing of REM Out of Time from 1991 on the Warner Brothers label. But yeah, this is a first pressing. Didn't know this was out on vinyl. My buddy did. But this has, of course, the big hit Losing My Religion and Shiny Day People. That is the official date. Yeah. So Shiny Happy People. Jeez. But this is again another fantastic copy. Super, super clean. Very happy to have picked this up, because again, this is just one I don't see very often. Not that it's not out there, obviously, but I don't see originals. And again, this was just a really nice, clean copy, and I thought it was a really good price. I thought it was priced well, and so I just went ahead and I went for it. You know, it was nice to see so many clean copies of records. And even, like, you know, a lot of shops that I would go to, you would see that record on a wall. And that was just in the bins. So that was kind of neat, is that sometimes I would just be flipping through and I'd go like, whoa, this is a first pressing of this record, and it's a little bit high priced, but you know, I wouldn't expect to see it in a bin. I would expect to see it, you know, up on a wall on display or something. So, but you know, just I had a great experience at that shop, and it's definitely one that I would go to quite a few times, or every time I go visit my family in Connecticut. Great shop, great experience, great customer service. Highly recommend it. By the reviews that I read about it, it's probably the #1 store in Connecticut from the reviews. From what I've been, like I said, from what I'm reading, it's like the highest ranked store in the state. I don't know how true that is, but from what I've been reading, that's what I've been seeing. Anyway, guys, that was my record shopping while on vacation. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry if I went on for a long time. I ended up buying more records than I expected while I was on vacation, to be honest with you. But I just couldn't pass up some of these deals and these great albums. It was just, and like I said, I just had a lot of fun. And like I said, the fact that I was able to help out some friends pick up some high-end records that they've been looking for, some grails, that was pretty fun too. But it's not my place to tell that story. Maybe they will, because they are in the VC. We'll see. But anyway, if you guys liked the video, leave me the old thumbs up, give me a like, a comment, all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it. If you haven't already, please also subscribe. I'd appreciate that too. We're off to a new year, hoping to see some great things in the future. But until next time, we will see you down the road. Peace. Bye.